Pain is actually our body's best defense mechanism. It's designed to protect us. But what happens when that very system, our guardian, turns against us? Today, we're going to explore that fascinating and, frankly, terrifying journey of how the thing designed to help us can become a source of chronic, overwhelming suffering.
To really get this, I want you to imagine something. Imagine a fire alarm in your house that goes off and it just never ever stops. There's no fire, there's no smoke, but that siren is just blaring 24/7. It's a relentless, maddening noise caused by a faulty system. Now, what if your body's pain system did the exact same thing? That's the core idea we're going to unpack.
Because you see, pain isn't just one thing. It really comes in two profoundly different flavors. On one hand, you have good pain. That's the temporary messenger, the useful warning that helps you heal. But on the other hand, you have harmful pain, and that's a completely different beast. It's not a messenger anymore. It's a permanent tyrant that stops you from living your life.
Okay, so to understand how it goes wrong, we first have to appreciate when it goes right. Let's look at pain in its intended role, as our guardian. Think of it as this incredible, essential alarm system that we're all born with, designed from the ground up to keep us safe.
Its number one job, its whole reason for being, is protection. We've all experienced this. You touch a hot stove, right? Before your brain can even consciously process, oh, that's hot, a powerful pain signal fires off a reflex. You yank your hand back without even thinking. It's this perfect, brutally efficient system that screams, stop, pay attention, something is wrong here.
But here's the turning point. What happens when that signal gets stuck in the on position? This is where the whole story changes. It's where the wiring of our internal alarm system starts to fray, and that helpful message of pain stops being helpful at all.
And biologically, this is where it gets really incredible. So it all starts with a normal injury. A cut, a sprain, whatever. A clear pain signal goes to the brain. But if that signal keeps firing over and over, that nerve pathway gets used again and again. It's kind of like a path in a forest. The more you walk it, the wider and clearer it gets. Well, the same thing happens with your nerves. That pathway becomes super efficient, hypersensitive, and pretty soon the whole alarm system is on a hair trigger.
Now, get this. This isn't just happening down at the site of the injury. Oh no, the changes travel all the way up to your nervous system's central command, your brain and spinal cord. And your brain, because it's so amazing and adaptable, it actually starts to rewire itself. It literally goes from just reporting the fire to generating the fire itself.
This whole process, it has a name. It's called central sensitization. And it's exactly what it sounds like. Your central nervous system gets stuck in this persistent state of high alert. It's like the main control panel for your body's alarm has gone haywire. Your brain and spinal cord start amplifying all the incoming signals, effectively turning the volume of pain way, way up. This is the very mechanism behind so many chronic conditions we hear about.
So what does this actually feel like? Well, look at this. For someone with a normal, non-sensitized nervous system, a mild touch like a shirt brushing against their skin might register as, say, a 2 out of 10 on the pain scale. Barely noticeable. But for someone with a sensitized system, that exact same touch can feel like an 8 out of 10. It's not in their imagination. The stimulus is identical, but the brain's interpretation of it is dramatically, agonizingly different.
So, what is it like to live with this constant false alarm day in and day out? Well, at this point, you have to understand, the pain is no longer a symptom of something else. The pain itself has become the disease.
And the effects, they just cascade through every single part of a person's life. It starts with the constant physical discomfort, which of course leads to horrible sleep and chronic fatigue. That exhaustion then fuels anxiety and stress, which creates this brain fog that makes it almost impossible to focus. And when you're exhausted and in pain and can't think straight, what happens? You start to withdraw. It leads to social isolation because just the act of being in the world becomes completely overwhelming.
Which brings us to what might be the most important takeaway of this entire explainer. We have to reframe how we think about this kind of pain. It is not a message about an injury anymore. It's a sign that the messaging system itself has malfunctioned.
Let's really let that sink in. Harmful pain creates real physiological changes in your nervous system. And I really want to hammer this home. When we talk about these changes, we are not saying it's all in your head in that dismissive way people sometimes do. Absolutely not. We're talking about tangible, physical changes to your nerves, your spinal cord, and the very structure of your brain. It's a hardware problem, not a software problem.
And that leads us to a final and I think really powerful question. When you think about it, this whole process we've walked through, it's a form of learning, right? The nervous system literally learns to be in a state of high alert. So if our bodies can learn to be in pain, can they also be taught to unlearn it? Now that thought, that idea opens up a whole new world of understanding and hope. And that's where we'll leave it for today.